the soldiers from Toy Story, because Andy had his little toy soldiers that he used to play with all the time when he was little, and I wasn't willing to give those away. But, and I went and took a magic marker and wrote Andy on all of the little toy soldiers, and that was a part of the party. When people were there, we encouraged them to take a toy soldier home with them, set it somewhere where they would see it every day, to remember to pray for Andy. And so, so now we would like to encourage people to, not that we want them to forget Andy, but not dwell on Andy, but to dwell on the others who are still serving.
Do you know how the soldier is doing that was wounded?
Pardon?
The soldier that was wounded with Andy, do you know how he's doing?
He is in stable condition. He is in Germany, and they're taking very good care of him. Yeah, he's got some severe leg injuries, and I believe a broken neck. So
that's information that we were sent by people just via email, Facebook.
Have you been in contact with the other families?
unfortunately,
You mentioned Andy had a really good sense of humor. Can you give us some examples?
Okay. I won't tell you that. Yes, I think we're allowed to tell you that. And you need to understand, Andy was not a great leader in the football player type A kind of guy. He was one of those more quiet guys that after you got to know him, you knew his character and his honor and his courage, and people just gravitated toward him. He didn't need to just jump in there. And so his sense of humor was more of a simple, quiet, dry one-liner. About 3 weeks ago, Andy had gotten done with his shift in his tower, and he had gotten back to the little barracks room. And I mean, think of the size of your bathroom with 5 guys living in there. And they were giving themselves mohawks. Because Andy was 20 years old, he thought that would also be a really good idea. And so he also gave himself, or let them give him a mohawk, and the man looked amazing. For all 15 minutes until his commander came by and told them they were to finish the job. And the 5 of them, because it is our country's policy to have no footprint in a foreign country, we bury everything that goes in or comes out of the body. And so these 5 soldiers were given the privilege of burying those things for weeks till somebody else got in trouble. Just kind of a funny guy. After his second firefight, and he had 2 firefights, and after which earned him the combat infantry badge. After his second firefight, we had an email from the soldier that said he and this other soldier they went and they got what they called their well-deserved double cheeseburger. And as they were sitting there, they were back in the tower, a mortar came right through the ceiling. And as this soldier next to him, this lieutenant, started yelling the radio, he turned around and Andy had the guns all prepared and everything was ready to go. And he looked at him and Andy said, "Lieutenant, I think somebody's trying to kill us." And they jumped on their guns and they went. It was a quiet kind of sense of humor.
a couple of weeks ago, Andy put his post on Facebook was, "If we're dying tomorrow, I'm eating ice cream today." And, it's kind of like, okay, so it's like, explain that to your mother. They were getting ready to go on a mission, and they're to hydrate the day before. And so everyone was sitting in a room drinking the water like they're supposed to, and in comes Andy with his ice cream. And, that's, he's like, "Hey, so I'm going off and doing this. I'm having my ice cream today." And that, he was so proud of, after basic training, we were down in Georgia, and we went to some of the military supply places. And Andy was so proud of all the cool things he bought that he was just sure would be so much better than what the military provided him. And I think the thing he was most proud of was the sling for his rifle. And so he's going back, and so he's showing his sergeant, and they just gave him a really hard time about that. He's just like, no, but I think this would really help us. So everybody has memories of him being able to lighten the mood in a situation, of him being there for them when they needed it, of him sticking up for the underdog, being the kid who can look at his friends and see someone who's hurting and be there for them.
Here's the soundbite. A number of weeks ago, someone had Facebooked Andy and had asked him, "Why do you have to go?" And he responded, "Why don't you want to go?" That was the man. He understood doing a job that had honor to it. And in some ways, he kind of wondered why everyone else wasn't doing it.
I said one of his favorite sayings was, when life gives you lemonade, or when life gives you lemons, shoot it back in life's eyes.